Here we go.
How do you define yourself? My beginnings started in Mobile, Alabama, where I was a sports junkie with high testosterone levels pumping through my veins. Now, to stand here as a 20-year-old creative, I didn't know this was the path I was intended to be on. But here I am, trying to enlighten the youth. Teaching taught me how to mold, how to envision a future for the youth. I want to take you all the way back to where my mother taught me how to give back in church and community. So, let's talk about some things here. My mother's name is Gwendolyn Jordan Preston. She is a strong black woman from Mobile, Alabama. She always taught me, George, you have to do something bigger than yourself. As an 11th grader, I never really knew what that meant. All I wanted to do was play basketball and just hang out with my friends and mess around pretty much and drive wheelies in Alabama. That's all you could really do. So basically, it took me a lot to get to that point where it was more so me giving away myself to another person and sacrificing time and to try to change someone's life. So I'm going to take you to where I quit basketball and I was lost for a couple of months. I was just lost, didn't know what I wanted to do. And we had a project to do in a history class, which was taught by by a football coach. His name was Coach Sullivan. And the whole, he had an assignment called Civil War Slang. And we had to create a skit to like figure out, like how we were going to put it up. So I got my group of guys that play basketball with me. I was like, okay, let's do improv. Like, let's just do improv. I've heard of improv. Like, let's just have fun up there and let's act a fool because, what else we going to do? So we go up. I did the thing. Everybody loved me for some reason. And my friends told me, they said, you should do acting. And I was like, well, I mean, I'm not doing anything else, so might as well. So fast forward, I went to Montgomery, Alabama, and I started working at Alabama Shakespeare Festival. That's where I fell in love with Shakespeare. I fell in love with classical theater, and this is where I am today. But that's not the whole purpose of this. The whole purpose is to teach you how educating other people has changed my life forever. And it started in church. So when I left Alabama Shakespeare Festival, I went to church and I told my mom, I think it's time. I think it's time for me to actually get away from myself and actually try to teach people something. So I worked with 5 middle school black boys that went to my church. They didn't have a big brother or a father at home to teach them any, sort of right or wrong. They were trouble kids. So I said, all right, let me start working with them. I went up to them. They were really scared. They called me yes. They said yes, sir to me. They were really scared of me for some reason. I said, okay, guys, I want to meet with you guys at least twice a week so we can tutor. I can teach you how to tie a tie. I can teach you how to do this and that. And I told them what I do. I said, I act. And they said, oh, can we do a play? I said, of course we can do a play. So then I started teaching them teaching them techniques in acting, also just about life. They could come to me and I would ask them about their week. Sometimes, they would be struggling. Maybe they couldn't get to somewhere and I would have to drive them all around Mobile, Alabama. And that filtered in me to getting a job this summer. I still love these boys. These boys are in high school now. I've been working with them for about 3 years. I think it's about to be 4. I still stay in contact with them. We still have a whole group chat. I still check in monthly, but this has changed my life forever, and it brought me a joy and passion in teaching. And now we move into what I did this summer. This summer, it was a story of a lifetime. I got to teach for the first time and got paid. Intro to theater. I taught intro to theater at Alabama's first charter school, Excel Academy. And when I walked in to get my interview, I was really taken back when I saw on the wall a Harvard diploma. And that shook me because I was like, this guy, could be doing whatever he wanted to, but he wanted to give back to the youth in Alabama. So I started teaching intro to theater, and I was really scared because I never worked with high school students before, boys and girls. So I was really scared. I was like, I hope they like me. Like, I hope I do it right. I hope they don't see through me and be like, we don't want to mess with them. Because these kids come from like tough backgrounds. I'm used to working with kids like that, but you always get scared when you're passionate about something. That's just how it works. So I worked all night, created my PowerPoint. I'm just working really, really hard on it. I get in and we fall in love with each other. Like, it's just like that. And it's more so, that's when I knew my calling. And that's when I figured out, I really want to further this education. And I wanted to get to know them. So I had them fill out note cards about what their goals are, where they see themselves in 5 years. And I'm telling you, this was like the best summer I've ever had. I had about 30 kids, taught 2 classes a day for about 2 or 3 weeks. I got a fat paycheck, and I also got to teach what I love. So ultimately, I learned a lot. And this, you probably think, why does this matter in the end? Well, this has inspired me to cultivate and do mentorship in future areas of all my life. I've been cultivated. I've had the privilege of having people in my life that cared about me, that wanted to say, hey, I see something in you. So let me cultivate you. Let me polish you up a little bit. So that's why I want to keep growing and keep excelling. So my future plans, I plan to get my graduate school education. I plan to be a thespian. I plan to get my master in fine arts. And I plan to go back to my community and also filter in the education no matter where I am, no matter if I'm super successful or not. That's the joy and passion that it brings. And so I once had like a pastor in church a few years ago. He told me, he said, sometimes it's not about saving all of the souls, but it's that one soul. That's one soul. And I apply that in the classroom. And it's not about me reaching everybody, because you're not going to reach everybody. But that one student that comes up to you and says, you touched me today. That's what makes a difference. Thank you.